Here we are. We finally arrived at ROFC 19B, the finale of ROFC. Today, we will determine the new owner of the realm of 50 characters, Ed King, or Anonymous. Ed King has a higher score than Anonymous, but at the time of writing this, Anonymous has one more supporter than Ed King on the ROFC Discord. This is despite an influx of Ed King supporters in September. Yes, I'm aware that Uchu appears twice. The role ad bot wasn't quite working correctly. But who will win? Anything can happen in this final prompt. Have a debate with your opponent over who should control the realm of 50 characters. Both Ed King and Anonymous submitted their 5 responses, and all of their responses will count. But before we find out who wins, we need to read some final confessionals. Samer Gamer says, "Good luck to the final 2, at least I died in style DNPing in final 5 after being somewhat an efficiency champion for a bit." Lil Edmund Brown says, "Well, this is it, the final episode. We would like to pleasure Ed King and Anonymous for making it this far. May the best player win." Leave Tresh says, "Overall, ROFC has been pretty amazing. Never really thought it would end this quick. Seeing a new ROFC always makes me really happy. Considering that the TWOW 24A is becoming comparable to Jigglypuff getting a buff in Smash 4, ROFC has been a decent alternative. As a viewer since the begging, I can't wait to see the conclusion to this saga." Alan Duke 321 says, "I am wishing luck for both edging and the underdog." Hi 314271 says, "Hey, didn't check much, but GL's finalists, 50 char. I think he was trying to get his confessional to be exactly 50 characters long." Hey It's Fox says, "This has been an amazing series. Thank you to the ones who have been here since the start. GL Anonymous. According to Discord search history, I was one of the first ones with Anonymous Team Flare." Object Show Author says, "Congrats to who wins. I may have missed the finale, but at least I'm a podium placer." Gumball Watterson 1990 says, "Well, this is it, guys or gals. The finale of ROFC. Who will win, Ed King or Anonymous? We'll find out after the confessional." I am new Daddy Pen Caps says, "This is like the FRK, the chance of spinning where Ed King is lose and Anonymous is win on wheel 5. And finally, Ed King says, "I like this game. Congrats to everyone who joined. Good luck, Anonymous." On voting form A, 43 voters cast 420 votes. All responses got between 41 and 43 votes, with an average of 42 votes per response. Voting form B was less popular. 32 voters cast 299 votes on that form. All responses on that form got between 29 and 30 votes, with an average of 29.9 votes per response. However, both forms will be weighted equally when calculating each contestant's score. And with that, let the debate begin. For this finale, I'll be going in order of the responses listed in Form A. In this form, Ed King got to speak first. For one to have control, one must be benevolent. A wise response to start the debate. Let's see how the voters thought of it. It looks like this was a pretty good starting response, and it was even a pretty good comeback against Anonymous' first response, which was, "I'm more suited to be at the helm of the realm." Rhyming is always good, I think. I don't really know much about what makes a good ROFC response and what makes a bad ROFC response. Sue me, okay? Let's see what the voters thought of this. It seems the voters thought this to be a great starting response, like it was in Form B, and is a pretty comeback to Ed King's starting response, which it was in Form A. Onward! Ed King then said, "If I control, I'll let all enter and be pleased." It seems Ed King is supporting his initial claim that the ruler of the realm should be benevolent by saying that he is benevolent. Thus, it follows that Ed King should control. Pretty good, right? Let's see what the voters thought. It seems the voters did like this response, especially in the form where Ed spoke first. In both forms, only 6 voters rated the response negatively, that is, they rated it below 5. Anonymous counters this with, "I'd keep the realm peaceful, leading for everyone." It seems Anonymous is playing into Ed King's claim that a ruler should be benevolent by being benevolent himself. I wonder how the voters feel about this. Whoa, that response was somehow even stronger than Ed King's response, particularly in the form where Anonymous spoke first. In that form, only 2 voters gave the response a negative rating. I have a feeling that 0 may have been from Ed King. Then again, I have no way of knowing because all the votes are anonymous, just like Anonymous himself. Anyway, let's move on. Ed King then said, "I've worked much harder to reach this point." Perhaps Ed is referring to how he has a far higher score than Anonymous, suggesting that he has written better responses. But do the voters agree? It seems the voters had mixed opinions on this response. Maybe the voters didn't think this was true based on the fact that Ed led wire to wire for many episodes. But also, look at that graph on Form B. That response must have been quite polarizing as a comeback to Anonymous' third response, which is, "I've never had a response with over 50 characters. Of course not. The Google Forms through which responses were sent were designed in such a way that any response over 50 characters was automatically rejected. Maybe Anonymous is trying to say he never hacked the system? Let's see what the voters think. As expected, mixed reactions. These third responses must not have been very strong, considering both contestants' second responses achieved very high scores. Ed King's fourth response was, "If you control, you'll wreak havoc on the realm." This seems possible. Ed's responses thus far have been quite formal, whereas Anonymous is making a lot of exclamatory responses. Let's see what the voters think. A good counter to, "I've never had a response with more than 50 characters. Nice. It wasn't as good of a counter to Anonymous' fourth response, which was, "I'd fight for ROFC Season 2 so you guys can try." I know that's what many of the viewers have wanted. Unfortunately, though, I've lost interest in ROFC, and as such, I probably won't make a Season 2. That's why there was such a delay in producing this episode. I just haven't been interested. Don't worry though, I have lots of other content planned for this channel. Anyway, how did the voters like the idea of an ROFC Season 2? It seems they love the idea. There are lots of 10 out of 10 ratings on both forms. It seems this response worked better as a counter to, "If you control, you'll wreak havoc on the realm," than to, "I've worked much harder to reach this point." That makes sense. This response works well to specifically counter the former response, "If you control, you'll wreak havoc on the realm." Ed King's final words. "To win is to have good wit, which you seem to lack." I think Ed left off a period because the response without a period was 50 characters. I mean, he got his message through, so it should be fine, right? Let's see if the voters agree. The Voters generally agree, but there's quite a bit of dissent as shown by the high standard deviations on both forms. Let's see what Anonymous will end this with. I can't run a 10K, but I can definitely run this. Good play on words there, Anonymous. That's a great, memorable way to end your speech. You can't run physically, but you can run as in control an organization. What do the voters think? Voters generally liked this. As expected, they liked it more as the final response of the debate rather than as the second last response of the debate. But was this enough to win? Let's see. Here's a summary of all the responses and their average ratings. Ultimately, Ed King ended up with an overall average rating of 6.294, whereas Anonymous ended up with a 6.453. It seems Anonymous triumphs here, but significantly so. Let's add up the scores to find out. By a margin of 20,069 points, Ed King wins the realm of 50 characters. Congratulations, Ed King. Don't worry, Anonymous. You fought valiantly, but it wasn't quite enough to win. Do you want more stats about ROFC? Then go to the official ROFC spreadsheet. The link is in the description. I hope this has been a great series for as many people as possible. Thank you everyone for making this as great as it was. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas.